Oh, g'day everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Weekend Wrap, the first for 2024. And it's great to be back. And I hope this is going to work tonight because, as I've been saying to Macca, we've got a fair bit on and a fair bit of stuff going on with my computer at the moment. So for those of you watching on Facebook, and we're back actually on Facebook Live and on YouTube, of course, bear with us because this is our pre-season. And as always, joining me is my partner in crime who seems to have slipped down in his chair somewhat. Macca, how you going, mate?
No, I'm doing well, mate, apart from the fact that my nose is a bit carved up at the moment. I had to have another cancer cut out there and a skin graft put on it, but that was on Wednesday. But we made it tough, mate. We can do it. Can
I get you to just move your camera up a bit so that we can actually see you?
Hang on. Oh, okay. Sorry.
There you go. Look at that. Much better.
Yeah, I was just sort of relaxing back a bit there.
Much better. So for those who may not know, we're trying something new this year, Mac, and some people might be able to see it, others not. I can see that it's pushing my little old computer pretty hard, but not too bad. So for those that are on YouTube, feel free to let me know. Go Crows, you're on YouTube. How's it looking on YouTube, mate? Give us let me know how it's going on YouTube because this is very, 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 very experimental, Mac. Very experimental.
Well, if we have some tech problems, mate, it won't be the first.
But just to give everyone a bit of a look around proceedings, and I can do that. We've got our Macca, you're up there on the screen, and we've got the chat going on the screen. I've got to resize that by the looks of it, but that's cool. We've got a bit of footy going on in the background there on our TV screen, and we've got another screen over here that'll be in use. And we do have a lot of other stuff, Mac, but I'm just not going to push it right now because, whoops, see, there we go already. I'm just not going to push it right now because, like I said, I'm getting used to using this new setup. And let's see if I can actually resize chat while we're talking because that's a little bit annoying. Mac, how was your summer, mate?
Good, really good. Didn't do overly much. I'm a very good gardener, and I worked in my garden. We went out a bit, around and about. But nothing really special, mate. We didn't go away for any major holidays or anything like that, but we did have some nice barbecues and that sort of stuff.
And did you happen to come across any football so far? I know you don't really take much notice, but I thought you might have caught a game or two.
Yeah, I think there was a couple on, wasn't there?
I think there's been one or two games on, yeah.
Yeah. Talking about football, I actually met Horn Francis at a social do. He's a really nice guy. He's a top guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's 100% top guy.
Oh, look at this. I'm doing it on the fly, Mac. It's just... Sometimes I surprise myself. I really do. Oh, dear. How do you turn off audio on Discord? You just mute it down the bottom.
No, back to that. No, someone... I need Horn Francis down High Street on Friday. No, I didn't. I met him at a function. Let's put it that way.
Very good. All right. Well, look, as I mentioned, I've got a bit of the got a bit of the footy going. See if I can swing around to it. Can I swing around to it? I don't know whether I can. No. Oh, wrong one. See? It's already just a freaking mess. There we go. No, I can't swing around to it. But people get the idea. So we've had a bit going on the off season, but the thing that's probably the thing that I want to talk about first, Mac, now that I've gotten over the fear of what I'm doing here, is significant. I think that Matty Nicks hasn't been re-signed yet.
Well, they keep saying that the conversation's going. I mean, how long do you have a conversation about that? I think one of two things. They're arguing about the length of term or the dollars, because I think he will be reappointed, or in the extreme case, that might be wait to see how we perform in the first couple of games, and then. So doing negotiations and subject to how we perform in the first couple of games, and then we'll look at it then. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give me a contract before we start. I think that probably he deserves a couple of years. I mean, if you ever look at our progress since he's had us, it's always been going upwards. And really, it should have been a final 8 job last year, when we won't go through all that again. But he's now got a lot of onus put on him, because that's the groundwork. He's really he's shown that he can actually start building a team. Now he's got to show, can he finish it? And that's the hard part, always the hard part. Yeah,
true. And that's, I guess, my area of concern, Mac. It's that's a little bit washed out, that picture, unfortunately, but that's what I'm trying to learn at the moment, anyway. Whether he can actually take it to the next level. There was some tactical errors that he made last year, a couple of games. The one in particular I remember, where he took Jake Saligo off when he had about 9 or 10 disposals in the first quarter, and ended up subbing him off, and we ended up losing that game against Collingwood, and a couple of other little bits and pieces. Selection was a bit hit and miss at times, I thought, and we certainly chatted about that during the course of last year as well. We've got a pretty hard draw in our pre-bye. Our draw is not easy. The games that we've got away are against tough teams, and it's not going to be a walk-up start. It's not going to be, easy going, and it just makes me wonder whether he's got the chops to go again, mate. Whether he's got the chops to actually, take us to the next step.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Those first 6 games, they're going to be very telling. And because, as you said, they're difficult games. There's no...
Yep.
And I don't think there's going to be too many easy games this year, by the way. I think it's going to be... we will have improved, but so will all the other teams have improved. So it just depends whether you outperform them in the improvement. And if you haven't, well, you don't win any more than... So he's got a lot of pressure on him. As I said, he's done a good job, in my opinion, of building a team. If we were, say, having Clarkson at his best, or one of those coaches at the best, I would have no doubt they'd take this team on to a premiership in the next couple of years.
Agreed.
And this really is this is his biggest test, whether he can do that. I think they probably will appoint him for a couple of years, but I would like them to actually wait till the end of those 6 games, just to see, even if we were 1-5 or 2-4, it's how you got your 1 and got your 2, and how you lost the 4 or 5. So just have a look at. I mean, because we lost 5 or 6 games last year by less than a goal, and with a little bit of having a plan in action, what happens in tight games, which we didn't seem to have, then maybe if he improves on that, he may be in a situation where he's sitting well. If he hasn't improved on that, we might be sitting in a bad position.
Yeah, look, that's true. I mean, Guyman in the chat makes a point that, if we'd had a certain goal allowed, then we would have been playing finals, and it's, therefore likely that he may have already been re-signed. Look, I don't disagree, actually. I think if we'd have made the finals, and particularly if we'd have won one, and we probably would have been well-placed to get through the first week, in my opinion, he might have been re-signed on the spot. We may well look back on that as a blessing in disguise, Macca.
We may or we may not. It's a situation that we've still, even though we didn't make the 8, we've still got a bloody hard draw, Feen.
Well, yeah, and that's what I mean. Our draw is not an easy one. If you look through the first half of the year, and we'll look at it a little bit more closely next week and the week after, but if you have a look at our first half of the season, it is really not that simple. And I think Matty Nicks has done a wonderful job for the Adelaide Footy Club. I really do. I think he's. We were a broken club when he walked in the door. Culturally, squad-wise, we're all over the shop. And to his credit, and the credit of others that have assisted him, he's done an amazing job at pulling the side together, pulling the club back together again from a football point of view, and from that point of view, you can't fault him. But having gotten us through that, he's now got a job to do, and the job is to win a flag, and that's the bottom line. And I guess we'll have to wait and see whether he's got it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking he will get re-signed though, Feen. I am thinking he will be.
I think the only I think he will too, unless we have an absolute shocker. Just like if we're 1-5 after the first 6 rounds, that'll put some pressure on. I guess then the question will be, mate, what's the term?
For me, it'd only be 2 years. Only 2 years. Only 2 years, because the next 2 years are the most telling years whether we are going to become a force or whether we're not. We've made the steps onto we've opened the door, and now can we go through the door and go upwards, up the stairs, or are we just standing at the doorstep and going no further? And that's why I would only make it 2 years. And it might be that if, say for example, we have this absolutely wowzer of a start, and we say after 15, or maybe make it 14 games, and we're something like 10-4, you might give him an extra year. If you've given him 2, you might throw another year on top at that stage. But initially, it's got to be only 2.
Yeah, look, I think so, Mac. There's a probably. Whoops, what have I done here? Jeez, there we go. Wow, I don't know what's going on. I'm just flicking the camera around. Sorry to those that are watching. I think you're right. I think it'd be pointless if you're going to reappoint him. It's pointless giving him a 1-year extension. The only way I could see him having a 1-year extension is if we do get off to a shocker, and they want to take the pressure off him and just get him another year. But I think 2 is right. If we get off to a flyer and we have a great season and we get the top half of the 8 and push deep into the finals, he could get 3.
He could. I'd still prefer 2. I like the idea of 2 because it means that the coach has always got it conscious in the back of his mind that he's got to perform.
Well, I think 2 is a good term for a coach. I really do. I think. You've got the outliers that get coach for life kind of contracts, and ultimately they're meaningless anyway. But I think under normal circumstances, I think 2 is a good period. And I think they might use gather round if we're 1 or 2 up by the time we get to gather round. I think they might use gather round as a bit of a momentum push for the weekend to get that going.
Yeah, I like that. I think that would be good timing.
Yeah. So injury wise, so far during the preseason, it hasn't been too bad. Wayne Miller has had a few hamstring problems and didn't really feature, or hasn't really featured to any great extent so far in dispatches. We've still got Nick Murray out, although he's apparently ahead of schedule, Mac, with his knee, which is good news.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, he was actually at the time our best defender by a country mile. And when him going down, it certainly weakened our defence. And he's not going to go straight back to that form, but he'll build, and perhaps if we're in finals, and by finals time he might be by then starting to show some good form, because he really is a very talented player.
He really is, and I don't think he doesn't seem like the type that will spend too much time worrying about his knee. I reckon 1 or 2 games back, and he'll be back to his bullocking best. We've also, Dan Curtin has had a few problems with his knee. That's a carryover from his junior days. I must admit, in the preseason game against Port, it worried me a little bit. He didn't look like he was moving terribly well laterally. What were your thoughts on that?
I think he just struggled with the game and the pace of the game in those first 4 quarters. Or certainly the first 3. I noticed that the longer the game went on, and probably a lesser quality as well against him. But no, I thought he moved quite well in the last part of it. No, I'm not worried about that part of him at the moment. I just don't want them to push him too early, and unless they're forced to by necessity. I want him to be playing this year, but I don't necessarily want him to be playing game 1 unless, next trial game he has an absolute slasher. But what he did show us, he was lost he really was lost in the early part of that game, and I said he got better the longer the game went. And one thing I can guarantee is that you put the ball in his hand, there's a very, very good chance he's going to put it onto a teammate's chest. He's a lovely kick, beautiful kick.
Yeah. Who are the other injury worries that we've had?
You mentioned Miller. I just wanted to say about Miller. If you have a look at Miller's record, last year I think he played all games bar 1, and that is the only year he hasn't had bloody injury worries. I thought that if you go back to it since he's been drafted, he's only played like 10s and 12s and all that sort of stuff through injury. And last year he had a really good year in terms of form, and also in turning up for all the games, bar 1. But look, he's a very important player for us, because once he gets that, last year he was dancing and prancing and moving and turning and twisting, and then at the end of it just puts it neatly on somebody's chest. He's just a very, very talented player, and I think he's very important to us, because another backline player, we're already down to some of the bigs, and we don't want another small one down as well.
Yeah, look, I felt like he found his niche a little bit across half-back as a distributor off half-back. He's not a defender's backside, let's be honest. But the way we structure up, having him as an outlet isn't bad. I guess my only concern with Wayne is that, when did we draft in 2015?
Yep.
Less than 100 games. 90-odd games.
That's my point. Last year was his big year of games, and every other year it's just been a handful.
Yeah, and he's in the leadership group this year, and I will discuss the leadership group in a minute. But he's in the leadership group this year, and, obviously years of experience, absolutely. But in terms of games played, Yeah, it's quite shocking, really.
Now we've got Butts also injured. Butts had he missed a lot of the end of last year, and got to say Keane came in and did a great job, and he never got an opportunity to do anything this particular game because of a dirty mongrel just smashed him in the head. That was Don't get me started on that. That's just one of the.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute, Mac, when we go through the practice match. But yeah.
Yeah. So Keane, I think he's an AFL footballer. He's good for AFL football.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But he won't play next week, but he'll be right for when there's games. So I actually prefer him at fullback. But Butts is a negator, but he doesn't get much of the ball, and a lot of the time he's caught behind his man as well. The other player that actually has been injured, which is a pity, because he was absolutely on fire, was Soligo. And I know I heard, I can't remember who it was, one of the coaches saying that Soligo is going to be a real gun this year. He's going to he's exploded at training and he's really looking the part, and they reckon he's going to have a really red hot year. So, and I can see that because the guy's got the makings of it. And but he'll be available for the first game of the year, and probably might even play in the trial next week.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. He's one that I felt in patches last year. Looked fantastic around the contest, and his movement in traffic was really good. And you wonder where they're going to fit him in terms of position wise. But let's hope he gets back on the park. Obviously, we've got Harry's out probably, you would think, for most of the season with that Achilles. I can't think of anyone else though that's not on the park at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've just about covered them all. Oh, Sloane, but
now, Sloaney with his eye, yeah.
Yeah, now it worries me about Sloane because I don't want him in the side, to be honest. I really don't want him in the side because, to me, that just holds another youngster back in the process of growth. And we've got this. We are in a process of growth, and Sloane coming back, he'll only place they can probably put as a wing or a half back or something like that, and that means one of the kids like a Nankervis or something like that's going to be put out. And at this stage, Sloane should have retired, but look, he wants to go on it, and I understand. But apparently, reduce salary, but it's very hard to give up a game. I understand that.
Well, more issues with his eye, obviously, and how many? That's twice he's had that detached retina now, isn't it? Right. And I've
got explosions going on in my eyeball. And
what? Were you having a shit or?
No, I was having a shower. And I wasn't the old toilet problem.
Wasn't squeezing one out and got a bit overzealous?
No, nothing like that. I rushed up to the Royal Adelaide Hospital on a Sunday and I fluked. It just absolutely fluked. The guy who does the retinas in the eye, in my case, it is also split, so he had to weld it with a green laser. And
oh Jesus! Okay.
Yep. And it's only bloke in hospital that can do it. And he just happened to come in there to catch up with his paperwork, and he's copped me.
Bloody hell!
So I was very, very lucky.
Yeah. Look, I don't see how Rory gets a spot, to be honest with you. If they're really serious, then they would have put him on a reduced salary. He's there as insurance. He's there to bring the youngsters through, provide guidance, all the rest of it. It's notable that he's not in the leadership group. I think there's a few issues, and we should at this point segue into the form that we've seen so far in the Interclub trial and also the one against Port. But just
finishing up on Sloan, he's only on a very base salary, mate. It's not the money.
No, I understand that.
It's not the money. It's just he's going to make. And he has been told that he may be playing B grade games as well.
Yeah. So look, hopefully that's the way it pans out. I just can't see him figuring heavily in dispatches, to be honest with you.
No, I agree.
Now, if someone on YouTube can just give me a hoy just to make sure that I've got Macca's volume up loud enough. It's a bit hard for me to balance at the moment. So if someone's on YouTube, or I can't see Facebook comments, unfortunately, at the moment. But if you're on YouTube and you think Macca's a little bit quiet, it's not because I don't want you to hear what he's got to say, because his input is very, very valuable. And he's an esteemed member of the CrowCast crew, and I'm so glad that he's with us again this year. And far be it from me to, block him out.
Oh, okay.
I'm just having a crack, mate.
I know.
No. So, all right. So, I don't think we've learnt too much so far. I mean, we had the Interclub trial, and usually you can see who's in blue, and you kind of get a picture that they're the first 22 and all that sort of stuff. And, then you got the hangers-on sort of coming in the yellows or flicking over at halftime. But, Matty Crouch looks like he's going to get first crack in the middle.
Yeah, and I think rightly so. I thought his form was very, very good when he was in there. I thought they actually used the midfield very well on the weekend. And I've got some statistics, which are team statistics, not player statistics. But we won the centre clearances 18-10. Now, and also at stoppages, we won those 32-29.
Yeah.
So, and we did have, really, when you think about it, I mean, Port Adelaide, and this is another figure which is very important, we had 69 interchanges. They only had 37 in
the first four quarters. Really?
37, yep. And we had 69.
That's not many at all, isn't it?
No, because they kept their big guns out there all the time. Whereas we were just rotating.
Yeah, so, they did play pretty much their best available, didn't they, in that first four quarters?
Yeah, even when we took our best guys out in the midfield, they still had Horn Francis, who'd been really firing, and Rosie's in there. So I thought our midfield actually did very, very well. That's one part of the game I was very happy with. I was actually happy with O'Brien. I thought that O'Brien was a dominant player, and although he's awkward, he's clumsy, and he's not the greatest skillful player, but geez, his effort was outstanding in terms of running and getting to contests. I thought I liked the way he played, and he will hold that ruck. He's not going to get replaced in the first ruck.
No, I don't think he will. I wonder, Mac, whether we're going to be a little bit more dynamic with the way we use him and Thilthorpe this year. It seems that O'Brien spent a little bit of time up forward so far, and I just wonder whether we might, now that Riley Thilthorpe's got another season into him, whether they might, rather than just giving a 5-minute chop out at the end of a quarter, whether we might get a little bit more proactive with those rotations and try to stretch a few sides, with different looks.
I think he'll still only be he'll only be a relief ruckman, with O'Brien doing most of the work, because I think in a way we're partially getting ready for the post-Walker era. I noticed that Thilthorpe seemed to be kicked 2 and he should have kicked 3 because he took the mark and missed an easy shot. And then, as I said, we only actually had 49 inside 50 for the game for the whole 4 quarters. So I thought he did a pretty good job, actually. And I disagree with Rabbis at all. They often take a lot longer. I mean, he's very, very mobile for a big guy, and I think because of that, we expect a lot more from him.
No, look, I see him ending up being a Nick Revolt. I think he's a running centre half forward that's just going to burn blokes off. That's how I see Thilthorpe with a ruck role of some sort. He's so good at ground level, Macca, and he's so clean, and his disposal and decision making is improving, and I think will continue to improve as he gains more confidence. And he's such a problem when he gets on his scooter. My only concern with Riley is if you think you're going to stick him in the goal square and lob it on his head, and he's going to kick 5 for you, I don't think he's that guy.
No, I don't think that's how he's going to play, that's not how you want him to play. I mean, you want him mobile, like the marks he took were mainly on leads and contested marks. Some of them were strong under a lot of physical pressure as well. So I don't see him as a goal square player. No, and somebody else doesn't. Rabbit agrees with that part.
Yep.
We only disagree on whether he's going to be the man up forward. I think he will be, but then again, I've been wrong before. Once.
No, Macca, never. B. Dosey on the chat would understand how much I agree with you on everything that you've said.
Of course.
Oh, fun times. All right, another bloke that I wanted to talk about was Josh Rochelle.
Good game.
Oh, again, probably not as bullish on Josh as you.
I thought to some degree, you're right in the sense that I think there's more in him, but he gave us enough to make you like it and want more. Put it that way. Some of his stuff was good. He did a couple of nice clearances from centre. Also, he did a couple of nice things up forward as well. But you are right. He can do more, and I think as the season develops, he will do more.
Look, I don't know whether we're going to get more than 10 to 15 disposals out of Rochelle over the course of his career. I think he might end up being a flashy half forward with cameos through the middle. I'm not seeing enough at this stage. And again, it's early days, right? It's early days. And, he did come into our squad as a forward mid. Very much a forward mid, So our expectations with regards to his midfield chops, shouldn't be too high at this stage because he's got to learn that craft. He's got to stay in the game for longer periods, Macca, in my opinion. And I know it's difficult at half forward, but certainly when he's got runs on the ball, he needs to be able to get to contests. And I'm not sure whether his fitness is up there yet for that.
And you're probably right. But there was one beautiful centre clearance from him, where he put it straight on Rankin's chest, and then Rankin reciprocated later by doing the same thing for him from the centre clearance. But you're right. I don't think at this stage he's a hard midfielder by a long shot. But I think as he gets older, he'll just play a bit more in there, and he'll get a bit stronger and a bit better. He's certainly got the brains, and he's got the skills, all the rest of it. And I know we expect more from him. This is his third year, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
He's had the 2 years where first year, you find your feet. In fact,
but let's not forget. Sorry to interrupt you, Macca. Let's not forget. He was one of the players that was affected in his late junior career by the COVID season. He only played 5 or 6 games in 21 or 20 or something. He was severely underdone, like a lot of those players were coming out of that COVID year. So you could almost say he's a year behind in that respect, and I do make allowances for that.
No, that's relevant. So it's very relevant actually. So but he showed us glimpses of what he can do, and what he can do can be quite magical at times. We just want more of it. That's all.
Yeah. On the other hand, I really hope that they start using Isaac as a midfield, because he is electric in there when he gets going.
Isn't he? Yeah. We actually had some very good players in the midfield, and that's, as I said, we won the midfield 18-10, and that was with a combination of players. Sometimes I noticed that the combination of when it's
they bloody should.
They should.
They bloody should.
I think there's good stuff on this. There's us, but out there.
Usually, don't listen to us. Just read the chat. That's where all the good ideas are.
I was about to say that. With all due respect, we got some pretty wise heads out there in the chat.
I really like Isaac through the midfield. I think he's got a great step. He's got good ball awareness. I think he really surprised around the contest for mine last year. I didn't expect that from him. And I think if he's got the wheels and the tank, then we really should be using him, for long periods, not just little cameos. I think last season he only had like 12 or 15 centre bounce attendances for the whole season, and most of those were in the space of a couple of games. Then they seemed to mothball that idea, which I found surprising, although it was clear that they were using him as a forward of centre stoppage player. But I think he's got great value, particularly, Mac, if we decide to use Laird and Crouch as our Bulldogs, I guess you want to say, our coalface players. We've got Geordie Dawson, who's obviously going to run through there as a permanent fixture. I think you've got the opportunity to use Isaac and Luke Petler and a little bit of Josh Rochelle if he's playing well through there to add a little bit of zip. Because as good as Dawson is, he's a loper and he's a little bit one pace and he'll get you good clearances, but he's not a zippy player by any stretch. He's a strong player who'll brush off tackle and break free. But I think it'll be a good mix. I guess one of the question, I wasn't overly impressed with Sam Berry's game. It's not as if he did a lot wrong, but I felt like he didn't do enough to maybe stake a claim ahead of Matt Crouch, at least for the start of the season.
No, he won't displace Crouch, but I will give him credit that I thought his overall game, apart from his kicking, was good, relatively good. I thought his work rate was excellent, put it that way. He didn't always get the ball, but his work rate was excellent. He's a bulldog, and he'll fight, and he's good for the hard ones. But no, I think Berry's future is going to be, put this way, he's getting squeezed both ways, because there's players like Rankin and Rochelle coming into the midfield with Pedler as well. But down below that, the boys that played the last couple of quarters in the midfield, I am very much in love with one of them, Edwards. I think Edwards is ultimately going to be a very, very good player for us.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think my worry with Sam Berry is that he's obviously the heir apparent to the Laird Crouch kind of role, but given Crouch's resurgence last year, and given Laird is just keeping on and probably has another 3 seasons left in him at the very least, you get to the point where you think, well, Sam's only going to be there as an injury backup at this stage, and he's probably good enough to get a coalface game at another club. So, and if he does decide to leave, or if we do decide to trade him, we don't have a lot of other bulldog kind of players there. So we go from having one too many to none.
No, I agree with you.
So it'll be interesting to see how they handle him. And look, Matt Crouch, he can tail off a little bit. Like he had a good back half of the year with 5 or 6 really good games. In terms of disposals at least, so I'm not going to get into the argument about his effectiveness at this stage, but he certainly racked up the disposals and got plenty of the ball. So it's going to be that one's going to be interesting. Just before we move on, Mac, I'd just like to thank everyone who's joined us. We've got some viewers on Facebook. We've got a few on Twitter that was streaming live too. I thought I'd give that a crack, and quite a few on YouTube again. So this little precursor sort of pre-season blow the cobwebs out for us is only going to get better. There'll be tons of graphics and lots of good stuff now that I know it's actually... I can't see any smoke coming out of my PC, so I think it's handling it all right, Mac. So we'll be able to...
Guys back again. It is good to see the guys back again.
Look, it's fantastic. So, look, if you are watching us for the first time and you're keen to get around us for the season, we've got a fantastic Discord server with plenty of lively chat during the week and also on game days. Please subscribe and like us on YouTube so that we can get up to some meaningful numbers and hit the algorithm a little bit harder on YouTube. And also, if you're listening to us, obviously, or watching us on Facebook, we got. Considering I've neglected the Facebook page over the last couple of years, Mac, we've got nearly 1,000 followers there too. So,
very good.
Really appreciate everyone's ongoing viewership, I guess you'd say. And hopefully we can build on that again this season. And the other thing, Mac, if you happen to own a business, this is a pretty good bloody platform now to bloody advertise on it. We got screens everywhere. We're obviously an extremely professional production, probably second only to Fox Sports in terms of football coverage now, Mac, I would say. So, if you want to get around the CrowCast and give us a sponsorship, if you do own a business, then hit me up. I'll give you sponsorship at aflcrowcast.com. Flick me an email and we'll have a chat. I'm really keen to get some sponsors on board this year so that we can continue to increase the quality of the content, Macca.
Yeah, well, they should get aboard, Fiend. I mean, apart from the football side of the thing, they've got to think you've got to feed a family and all that sort of stuff. So, Fiend...
Oh, no, it's not about that. I don't care about my family, and clearly I don't need a feed.
Well, Fiend just wants to get richer. Is that better?
No, I just want to pour it all back into the cast. That's what I ever do. So, the fact that we've got interactive casts here and a fantastic chat community is fantastic, and I think it's a really good platform for an advertiser to get on board.
Yeah, get aboard, folks. Get aboard.
Yep, get on board. All right. So, the other person that I wanted to speak about was, probably the thing that I wanted to speak about, but particularly this individual, is Brodie Smith. Part of the leadership group, along with O'Brien and Millerer and Mitch Hinge, and who's the other one that's in there? I've forgotten now.
There's an odd one in there.
There's one more in there.
Lockie Murphy. Now, Mac. Yeah.
I have the utmost respect for the way Lockie Murphy goes about his craft. He never dies wondering. He's under the packs.
When he's in Crowmania, he used to serve beautifully.
Leadership group?
I was staggered. Just put it that way. I was staggered. He's a really nice guy, and I have been served by him. and he was very good.
Move on from that.
But look, I will say this: he does give 100%, and he does risk his body.
Absolutely.
And he's fearless, and I guess that's why he's in the leadership group, because he can ask them to do that because he does it.
What I guess, look, when I look at it objectively, and you think, if not them, then who, right? So, Smithers and Miller and Lockie Murphy and Riley O'Brien being the more senior in that group. If you say, if not them, then who, then the cupboard's a bit bare. So I do understand where the club sits in terms of our demographic. Obviously, Tex don't want to be involved. Sloaney don't want to be involved. We got Geordie Dawson in there as well. Forgot about Jordan. So I do understand. Maybe the leadership group, the makeup of the leadership group, really highlights the dip in just stocks that we've got in that mid to late 20s sort of thing. Laddie doesn't want to be involved either, so I guess it highlights where we're at as a squad.
Yeah, while Murphy, I was a bit staggered about. The more I thought about it, it probably is because he is a fearless player and he does set a very good example of going, risking life and limb to try and get the ball. Smith, I think you could even say there's even probably more doubt about why he should be in the leadership. I mean, a guy who gets the ball and just bombs at 60 metres and really hits the player on the chest.
Well, I think it's quite an important season for Brodie Smith. If he wants to be around for our next premiership run, he needs to adapt his game, in my opinion. We cannot have him just slotting 50-metre darts to anyone consistently. We need more rebound from him. We probably need him running forward a little bit as well and getting on the end of chains and using that lovely long kick the way Seedsman used to do. Again, you don't question Brodie's commitment. He seems to have probably lost a yard since the knee. But I just think he needs to be a little bit more versatile. Because there are other players. We've got quite a few young halfbacks coming through that can offer as much, if not more, than him right now.
Well, I think he warrants a spot at the moment, Fane. But he's, as the season progresses, he could be. He wouldn't, if he put in a couple of bad ones, he could be out the side. And for example, Nan Curvis. I don't think we lose much if we put a Nan Curvis in Smith's spot, in my opinion, because I think Nan Curvis is going to be a good player.
Really quite bullish about Luke Nankervis. I feel like he looks better when he's on a wing than he is off halfback. Like he offers something on that wing aerially, and he's got good evasion and good decision making. I reckon it might end up being him and Saligo eventually as our wingers. The other bloke that I forgot through the midfield, of course, is Chase Jones, who I thought was a bit disappointing, Mac. To be frank, on Friday night.
Bit harsh because he was playing wing. And
all right,
hang on. The wind was going across the ground, and for half the game, you're sitting over on the wrong side of the ground to get into the play because it was all on the boundary on the other side. So it looked like times like he dropped out of the play, but he's just not in the bloody play because it was going around that flank over there.
Yeah, I get it.
I thought he did okay when he had to contest for it. I would say he was outstanding, but I gave him a pass on his game for what he had to do when he got the opportunity.
Yeah, I didn't see him sort of really do much in the midfield, to be honest. I guess that's what I was hoping for, that he would sort of transition a little bit into more midfield minutes.
I don't think he's going to get that. I think they've decided now it's going to be, and I think with good cause, it's going to be the two R's and but he's a peddler. I think those three are probably going to be the ones that are going to rotate through there. I think, look, there's other guys that probably might get a little chance once here and there, but no, I think he's developed into a good winger last year, and I think that's the way they'll just keep him.
Yeah, okay. Lucky Shoal, got a bit of it.
Got a lot of it, actually. It surprised me, and he also used the ball very well as well. But I still think he's on borrowed time because he's not physical. I didn't see him squib at any stage of the game. He was actually in one. He got into the play a lot because when he was over on that particular wing over there, there was a lot of times he had the opportunity to get loose or contest a ball when it's come to the ground. I can't think he could have done any more than he did, but that's not necessarily a reason for him to play.
No, I'm just going to show this. I've been keeping an eye on the little replay that I've been running on the TV on the side, and we've just got to an example. It worries me.
Yeah, fair enough. On that occasion, yeah. And I can actually remember the incident that you're talking about, so I know it did exist. So, but overall, I thought he's shown enormous progression as a footballer.
Yeah. Now, when did Keane get hit? Was that in the second quarter?
Nah, first quarter, in the first few minutes.
Was that the first quarter, was it?
Yep.
Let's see if I can go back and find it. Was it after we kicked out 2 goals?
Yes. I think it was just after that.
All right. I'm just going to run that forward and just
10-15 minutes into the first, somebody's saying that, and that's about right.
I'm just going to let this run in the background, and I'll keep my eye on it. And when we get to it, we'll talk about the Peppa one. Defence looks okay. I thought Josh Worrell had a bit of a shaky game, Mac.
Not one of his best. He had some moments, but he also had some not good moments. It wasn't. He finished last season on a high. If you drew a graph, his graph was rising rapidly at the end of last year, going up, up, and up. And he didn't resume from that level. He's resumed from a lower level, so he has to work to get back to that form again. Because if he gets back to that form again, he's a damn good player.
Yeah. Max was in and out. I thought most of the defenders were in and out. No one really stood out. I thought Mitchy Hinge was a bit short of a gallop by the looks of it. But the fact that we were able to, disposal was a little bit off. We got to remember it's first competitive run, and look, Port played pretty much their best 22. So from that perspective, we did well to hang with them. Up forward, I thought obviously Tex was quiet. He'll ease himself into it. What do you think of Fogarty?
Didn't work quite hard enough, in my opinion. He had his moments, but I'd like to see a lot more moments from him. If he's got a chance and gets the ball, he's going to kick a goal. That's a good thing about him. But he, at the end of last year, he was working much, much harder. And I'm not saying he won't again this year, because as you say, it's the first hit out. I thought that he had good moments, but not enough of them.
No, and
ability to do it too.
Yeah, most definitely, he's got the ability to do it.
I'll throw one at you, Burgess. What did you think?
Okay. Right, I've just found the Keen one. Look, okay, Macca. He's a bit right. I don't think he's first 22. I think he's a very good stopgap. I think at times we could use him in certain situations to stretch an opposition as another tall option if we felt like that was going to assist us. I don't think he plays every week.
No, but I think he's not. I think we've got him. Break glass in case of emergencies.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But you know, he's not hopeless. I mean, he did a couple of nice things, a couple of nice marks, and yeah, as I say, he's there. If we haven't got a lot of tools, and we've got some injured tools, so yeah, he's a backup either end.
Yeah, very good insurance. Very good insurance, I think. And in the interim, not that the twos are a big deal, but in the interim, he'll give Strawny a good chop out too in the twos. All right, let's have a look at... I've got this queued up, so let's have a look if I can work my way around this. There we are. So I'm just going to slow-mo this. I know you can't see it, Mac, but for the people at home...
This is the hit. Is this the hit?
Yeah.
You knocked your mic over.
No. Oh, what am I doing? What happened then?
You there?
Wow. Yeah, I'm here. I just something happened then. I don't know what happened. I lost. I'll come back to it when when I find it again.
Okay.
I dropped my mouse and it reset everything.
I think just to try a few other names, Strawn. I thought Strawn didn't do much really when he had his opportunity come on, and O'Brien I thought was really great with his efforts, and Parnell had moments, Borlase had moments. Just in the last couple of quarters there's a couple of lads in the making there. Bond was given a couple runs through the middle, and he doesn't look hopeless either. Number 40. Yeah, he was an interesting one actually, because we really didn't see anything of him in the last season. In his debut season, he looked a bit out of his depth, and but he had injury as well. No. Mm.
Yeah. But sorry, I'm just.
And Billy Dowling, yeah, I like him as a player too. I thought he went well. So
yeah, I don't mind Billy actually. I don't mind Billy at all. I think he's got some. Good skills, and probably needs a little bit more beef on him still, Mac, I reckon.
Hammer was okay, but he's not going to take anybody's spot unless we're short of a player.
No, he showed a bit of dash, I thought, and seemed a little bit stronger. But yeah, not first pick. Although with Miller out, he might actually get that outlet defender role, Mac.
Well, that's actually true. He'd be probably the logical one to slot in there because you would pace.
Think. Yeah.
I reckon that is one of the most cowardly things I've seen on a football field for a long time. You've got a guy who's being held by another guy, and he's got no chance to protect himself, and he has come and sniped him, and people can't say that he got pushed into him, because if you look
he didn't get pushed into him. Didn't get pushed into him at all.
No, I played it frame by frame, and if you watch Peppa's shoulder, it leans inward.
Yeah, he's got forward momentum when he hits him.
Yeah, and it leans into him, because if he was actually hitting a bloke that was actually being thrown in his path, and he was actually trying to avoid it, his shoulder would be going out, not in.
Yeah,
so the bastard actually deliberately taken him out, and he belted him straight in the head with maximum force. It was a hell of a bad blow. Now, the league's been rabbiting on about this, and they must stop this sort of situation. Now, if you look at what he's done, it's deliberate, it's impact high, contact high. Now, that to me is straight to the tribunal on 4 games. But I think if the league is serious about this type of thing, stopping this type of thing, that they should say, well, bugger the 4, you're getting 6. Because this is going to be an example of what we're going to do this year. If you're going to bump players in the head, and don't come up with it's a football incident. The ball, you weren't contesting the ball. You only did one thing. You wanted to hit him, and that's what you've done.
Well, and the thing is, Keane was actually spinning out of the Rioli tackle. A lot of people are saying, it was Rioli was slinging him around. He wasn't. Keane was actually spinning out of that tackle, and Peppa had two other options available to him. The ball was actually free, available for Peppa to actually steal it off Keane, because Keane had lifted his arms to get through the Rioli tackle, and the ball was there for the taking. Or else it was a tackle, right? It was a dead set tackle, and it would have been holding the ball. He's tried to break the Rioli tackle. He's gone into a Peppa tackle, holding the ball every day of the week. Yep. So he has made a conscious decision. He hasn't looked at where the ball. He actually, when he shoulder charges, he actually shoulder charges past the ball. So he's not looking at the ball at all. He's got no intention to tackle or anything like that. His sole intention is to put him down. And Macca, I'm with you. A lot of people have been saying 3. Given what we've had with Angus Brayshaw during the week and his unfortunate retirement and all the rest of it, I'm saying 6. I'm saying 6 weeks for Peppa, because that was a good old-fashioned shirt front. And people that say, the bump's dead, the bump's dead and all the rest of it, that wasn't a bump. That was a good old-fashioned shirt front that belongs in the 70s and 80s. We haven't been seeing that in football for a long time.
No, I agree with you. I think it's the dirtiest thing I've seen in years, because it was a defenceless footballer, and he's just sniped him and just smashed his head. And as I said, his shoulder hasn't gone back. His shoulder's gone in and hit him so hard that it actually spun Peppa's body around 180 degrees.
Agreed.
That's how hard he's hit him. More kinder to the propped up teams. But no, if they're serious about it, if they really are serious about concussion, and they've got all these cases being suing them at the moment, this is the perfect timing to say, we aren't tolerating this. And so 6 matches. Yep.
Well, we will see. Obviously, they'll probably deliberate on that tomorrow, I'd imagine, and we'll see what happens. And the most ridiculous thing out of the whole thing was Tommy Jonas on the commentary, basically saying there's nothing in it. Good on you, Tom.
Yeah, I thought that was disgraceful. Was there anybody in that commentary that had any bearing to the Crows at all?
No. Well, it was a Port hosted game, and I think Port basically.
The reason I say that is every they got 29 free kicks to our 22, and they just about queried every free kick we got, and even though they got 29, they were screaming for more all the time. And I thought, is there anybody up there that's got anything? And also they didn't call a lot of Crows players by name as well. I thought it was pathetic.
I actually thought the umpires were pretty average. I'm assuming they used SANFL umpires because it was pretty average. I didn't think it was a very good display by them as well. Lots of confusing decisions. So, I mean, the commentary was clearly biased. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, mate, it was a pre-season Interclub trial, AFL sanctioned, but not part of the pre-season, which starts next week. So I guess we're lucky we got a stream in the first place, to be honest.
The one that really got me paying was the one where in their forward line, I think it was, where what could have been for, I can't remember, but it was down like where the busy end where all the spectators are. We've grabbed this Port player, turned and spun him around in a circle. He's got the ball in one hand, it's flown off his hand, and the controlling umpire quite rightly has said throw. And this stupid white maggot trots in and says hanging on. He'd be hanging on. He's thrown the bloody ball away. And then they have a discussion, and because they are given different decisions, they bounce the bloody thing. It was one of the most stupid incidents I've seen umpires do. And
I think can't
have any faith.
For accuracy, they were actually powder blue maggots on Friday.
Yeah, it has been pointed out, blue maggots, and
nice powder blue.
They're the worst kind. They really are.
All right, mate. Well, I think is there anything else you wanted to cover out of the game? I think we've pretty much talked through the most pertinent parts.
No, we didn't give Dawson his due credit. I thought he played a very good game, Dawson. I was a little bit disappointed with Michael Annie. I thought he can play better than that. Just looking at the list here. No Darling. No, I think we just about covered them all, mate. Oh, Gallant, he had some moments, but he didn't get a lot of opportunity either. So,
it's interesting with Gallant because when I first saw him, I thought, God, there's a lad that just jumps at the ball. I loved his aerial work, but he is also one that is seeming to run under the ball a bit. He jumps very vertically, and often he'll actually take the mark behind him, and that wasn't something that we saw from him when he first started. It's something that's crept into his game, and he tends to drop a lot as a result. And I wonder with Lockie, I'm a bit of a fan of his, but I wonder where he slots in. He's certainly not a McAdam replacement. He's not dynamic enough to be a McAdam replacement. Again, he's going to be sitting in behind Tex and Fogarty and Thilthorpe and those blokes for a run. Not sure.
Well, I actually missed two of the most useless players of the day. Cook was terrible, I thought. Very poor game,
really disappointing, Braden.
And did his chance of getting a game no good at all.
No.
But the worst one I gave to Himmelberg. Great big lug there back at full back, just bloody useless. I mean, I will say this: his big body got in the way a few times, but geez, in terms of skill, he's way down on this, mate.
That they've got a couple of good young tools, Port Visentini and Scully, both good young tools. They're obviously been trying to turn Elliott into a defender, given opportunities and whatnot. He just lacks that. I don't know. He just lacks that.
Let's just call it ability.
See, I'm not prepared to call it ability, Mac, because he actually does have good skills. He's good. He's also good below his feet, below his knees. He's got a good football brain, in my opinion, when he's got the ball. But he's just so laconic. He doesn't seem to have another gear. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the two comments there, Barney Magic, Himmelberg lacks urgency, the polite one. Next one says quite rightly, looks like he doesn't GAF give a, you know what. And that comes back to your comment about being laconic and not looking at maps. He's not an intense player. He's just not an intense player.
No, he's not, and it's to his detriment because he plays against big lads who'll use their body and with a sense of urgency and all the rest of it. And he just doesn't seem to have that grit about him to fight for a contest. You know what I mean? To fight for position or anything like that. And like I said, Porter got some good young tools. Really impressed with both Visentini and Scully. I think they'll have good careers, and they've got that other lad, Lord, as well.
Lord was kept quiet. So
yeah, but he's good. I like him. And then they've got Georgiadis as well.
They've got some good tools, and the two young ones you mentioned, they are going to be good players down the track as well.
Well, it makes you wonder why they signed Todd Marshall on for 5.
Well, they rate him very, very highly. I only rate him about, they rate him like about an 80, 90% player. I rate him about a 70% player. I don't rate him as highly as they do.
He's had some good games, absolutely, but he can go missing.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
He'll have a day when he'll kick you 5 goals, and they might be the only 5 touches he's had. But he'll have another day when he might get 5 kicks and very ordinary ones in the middle of nowhere. He's not a guy I would want to rely upon, to win a flag.
No,
And Dixon, I think, is finished.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind Big Charlie. I think he's a big trier and he gets around his teammates and all the rest of it. And I actually I don't mind him, actually, to be honest. I would have been in his early days. I would have been happy for us to trade for him. I should say, but he's looking at shadow of himself now. When he gets out on that league, he looks so big and strong, and his hands just grip the ball, and like takes it out in front, but they just don't get enough out of him anymore.
No. And, Keynes stood him last time in the showdown and beat him hands down.
Yeah.
No, I like Kane. I just hope this doesn't affect him at all, because I think he's got enormous potential. We didn't actually see our new Irish recruit at all. They didn't play him.
No, well, I mean, he looked a bit at sea in the Interclub. Don't you think?
He did, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
I think he's still learning the game, mate. And you probably wouldn't want to put him to the sword like that up against a top 8 team.
And Murray's brother didn't overexcite me either.
No, a couple of things. One
really nice mark.
Yeah, again, he's out of a country league. It's only his second or third run, so let's cut him some slack. And, by all reports, doesn't shirk it either like his brother. So if we could have two of Nick Murray, you'd be happy.
Yeah. I'm just calling them as they are now. So
yeah, absolutely.
I hope in time we're just saying a lot better things about it.
Agreed. Look, mate, I think that probably does us. We've gone our obligatory hour and a half nearly, even though I really wanted to cut these back to an hour this year. But it's been great to be back on deck. It's great to see you up and about, Mac. Good to see everyone in the chat. Our new platform's working well. We've got some new people watching on different platforms. Don't forget, as I mentioned earlier, like and subscribe us on YouTube. I'm really keen to get those subs up and get us in the algorithm there. If you're not part of our Discord, get around the Discord. It's a great spot to have a chat about footy, particularly on game days. It gets pretty willing. And, mate, I guess we'll be back next week, won't we?
We will. I just want to make one comment to reply to the chat. They say, do you think that Charlie Edwards will get a game early? No, not early, but it wouldn't surprise me if he worked his way into a spot by the end of the season. I wouldn't
mind betting either. He looks likely, doesn't he, Mac?
Oh, he's very likely. He's a great pickup. For the number 2 pickup, he's a great pickup.
Yep. Yeah, agreed with that.
All right.
Agreed with that. Well, so we got West Coast next week.
Yes, and I think I would say that we'll be putting out our best side. I would think, even though it is West Coast, they will obviously, probably our best 25, 26, put it that way.
Yeah, I think so. Is it a 4-quarter game or another 6-quarter game?
I don't really know, Feen. It seems like you can make them out like however long you like, but it depends whether they. Well, see, we're not travelling this time. They might give. They might make it another 6. It depends.
Yeah,
whether West Coast
I'm not sure what the format is.
If West Coast bring their whole squad, hang on, this one's under the auspices of the AFL as a proper trial.
Yeah, you're right. So it's probably going to be 4.
So it'll probably be 4 quarters and probably 5 interchange. They may allow an extra interchange or something like that.
Maybe. Yeah.
All
right, so we will be back, Mac, next Sunday at 8:30. I'd like to give a shout out to my youngest son Tyler, who turned 16 today, mate. He's last cab off the rank for me. Yeah,
well, Tyler, all I can say to you is, mate, congratulations, and I hope you turn out better than your old man.
Wow. Why? We've been so good tonight. It's so good.
It was a joke, mate. It was a joke.
And you just a big uppercut just to finish off. Tyler could do worse, mate. Don't worry about that.
Tyler, look up to him as a model, and then change and go the other way.
For all those people on Twitter that have been giving me shit about giving you a hard time, I just saw the gloves just come off just then, mate.
Is that right?
But I'll be the better man.
You'll find it stressful thing.
All right, look, lovely to see you again, mate, and lovely to see everyone. We will be back next week with another weekend wrap. Until then, stay safe, be good. See you then.
Yep. Bye all.